So thank you, guys. We are introducing ourselves in the chats and naming our country and also the Teachers Association we are affiliated with. Thank you, Jacqueline from Tanzania, from LPAC, sorry. And we have Justin from Tanzania, Dekas from Telta, Tanzania. You're most welcome. So once again, thank you so much for joining this meeting. My name is Jane Maru from Kenya. I work with the English Language Professional Association of Kenya. We have been having a series of webinars on capacity building for our chapter leaders. And Okon, Effiong was gracious enough to be a part of the facilitators team and talk about proposal writing. So Dr. Okon is an English lecturer at Qatar University. He is the founder of Africa ELTA and currently its advisor. Among other leadership roles in TESOL, Okon served on the board of directors between 2020 and 2023 and was the TESOL treasurer, chair of finance committee in the year 2022 and 2023. He's also the past president of Qatar TESOL. Okon has taught in the UK, Japan, and Nigeria, and is a regular presenter at the TESOL International Conference, as well as other international recognized conferences. Thank you so much, Okon. We are really humbled to have you here. And he will be speaking about proposal writing. I think it's something that interests all of us, bearing the fact that we are going to be having our next Africa ELTA conference in the next coming year. So welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Jane. It's always a pleasure working with my brothers and sisters in Africa. My presentation will focus mostly on Africa because of the challenges we have. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. Can you just confirm? Can you hear me? Beautiful. So, like Jane said, there's a conference coming up next year in Tanzania, Africa ELTA conference in collaboration with Telta. So hopefully at the end of this session, a few or some or many of you would like to submit a proposal. And if not just for Africa, you can still submit a proposal to other bigger conferences like ITEFL or TESOL International. So thank you very much for coming. And I must say, I'm very impressed with the attendance. I think we have 26 in the room and we are just 7 minutes into the program. I've attended webinars hosted by TESOL International, usually have like 15 or 20 people in the room. So for Africa to have this number is very impressive and I'm happy considering our challenges. So I'll be talking about proposal writing. I don't like talking to people. I like talking with people. Because talking to people is like we teachers, we know teacher-centered classroom. And so I'd rather sit down in a room and we have a conversation. I try to use a Mentimeter so that we can use QR code to interact, but I thought about it again. In our context, most of us are using phones to join Zoom sessions like this. You switch from your Zoom to QR code and back again. And so I thought you can stop me at any time. Put your question in the chat box. Jane is going to monitor the chat box. You can always stop me and then we address that and then continue. Because if you have to wait until the very end, you may forget what you wanted to say. Thank you very much. And welcome to proposal writing. So Why propose? That's the question. Proposal comes from the verb propose. I tried as much as possible to keep my text to the left because in the Zoom, the images, the thumbnails are on the right side of the screen. So why propose? We know this is very typical that when the man, he will go on his knees and ask the lady, will you marry me? Of course, 95% of the time it is yes. And that gives us that sense of satisfaction. The same way when we submit a proposal, we expect a positive response from the organization, the host organization. And when we don't get that, it's something else. But let's talk about Africa now. It's always the man who is proposing. I've never seen a picture of a woman proposing to a man. If you disagree with me, say so in the chat box. Have you ever seen a woman propose to a man, or do women in Africa propose to men? Say yes or no in the chat box. And then Jen will tell us whether the majority is yes or no. And in the case of brothers, it's a black and white situation, very clear. Will you marry me? Yes. And when the lady tells you, let me think about it, I will advise that man to return the ring to the shop and get his money back, because that's a straight no. And then talking about our sisters, please, let me not generalize and say Africa. Let me talk about my country, Nigeria. At least if I get beaten, I know where I'm going to be beaten in my country. And if I see my sisters there, I know how to avoid them. Maybe cross the road to the other side. So in Nigeria, women do propose, but not as explicit as men do. It begins by, Okon, you know, I love you so much. Ah, yeah, sure, darling. I love you too. And we've been dating for 3 years now, and yes, dear, I don't even know where this relationship is going. And time is not on my side. This is 2024. I'm getting old by the day. The man cannot say a word again. She doesn't know where the relationship is going. From that moment, the relationship either goes to the altar or it goes out of the window. So it's the same thing. What we men say in 4 words, will you marry me? The woman will use 4 sentences to say the same thing. So women do propose, like it or not, they do, but in their own ways. So next is the emotions that follow when you receive a rejection letter. I mean, if it's a small conference, maybe like a local chapter in Kisumu or Eldoret, you may say, well, if it's a national one, like in Nairobi, National Convention, you will be disappointed. But if it is an international, say Africa, Europe, America, where you probably thought, oh, I'm going to get the Reload to sponsor me, or the British Council, the excitement of going to America or Europe. So your disappointment is not just about the proposal being rejected. It's about the adventure, the fact that you wanted to go and find out, to know a new country. So it becomes worse. 2 weeks ago, I posted something on my TESOL, the TESOL members here read it, about the need not to cry because tears mean money. When you cry, you are crying away money, because I had an eye infection last year. I went to the doctor. You know, the chicken handwriting doctors used to write. I went to the pharmacy and they asked me to buy artificial tears. Tears? Why will I buy tears when I can just cry and produce tears? So I told the pharmacist, please give me a cup or something. Let me cry, measure what the doctors recommended, and sell the rest. So I tell people, whether you receive positive or negative feedback from your conference organizers, do not waste your energy crying. Just hope for better days. Now, what we normally get from these people, well, let me not say these people, from the organizers, they will tell you they had too many proposals and we couldn't accept yours. or your proposal is not rooted in literature, the plan is unclear, maybe you've not even completed the study, which is true. Some people, the way they write the proposal, they're actually writing as if they're writing an academic paper they want to submit to a journal, or like a progress report. This study is being conducted. It's not a study, it's a paper. You're coming to present a paper, not study. So that is a clear indication that this person has not completed that study. Maybe it may not align with the conference theme or with the sub-themes, and written in a manner that is confusing and does not explain why the topic is needed. No objectives or the methods or the outcomes. The last two at the bottom is a recent one that was sent to somebody. It says it seems more appropriate for general language learning. And then the question is, we are talking about English here, an English proposal. Which one is general language learning? Which one is specific general language learning? I can't understand that sort of feedback. And then the other one is emphasizing the practical implications for classroom instruction is not a strength. But the rubric says you should tell us what the teachers or the attendees will take to the classroom. And the reviewer is saying it's not a strength. It only underscores the study's potential to inform pedagogical approaches. It's just very strange. But these are sample feedback to get from the organizers. Now, it's a two-way traffic, the writer and the reader, or readers. Maybe 2 or 3 people may be reading your proposal. So if there is miscommunication, it becomes a problem, which is why it is very important that when we write a proposal, we need to be very clear in our message. And I think that is why we are here today, to get a clearer understanding of writing a proposal. Because you, the writer, will understand what you want to, you know what you want to write. But if you don't convey it in a manner the reader will, your proposal should be the reader getting into your head to understand exactly what you're trying to say or what you intend to present. That makes it easier. But if the reader cannot get into your head to understand you, then it gets confusing. So in terms of the people organizing the conference, there's the association, whether it's Africa Alta, whether it's ALPAC, or whether it's just a small branch, or whether it's IFF or Digital International. It's all about branding. The brand name. They want to raise the brand name, or at least maintain it if they cannot raise it. And then they want to keep the association members happy, and the people coming to the conference, good too. They want them to be happy. So the following year, they can come back. And they also want to use their conference to measure against other conferences. It is very typical when you attend a conference, you say, hey, I was in Tanzania last year and the conference was like this, it was like that. I was in Kigali, their conference was better organized, there was this, there was that. So you compare, and then, but for people who organize conferences, there's the insider view and there's the outsider view. Even where everything looks so beautiful, well organized, there are struggles within. So for those of you who are in conference planning committees, you know, there is never a perfect conference. There are issues, there are always issues. But then the association is still trying to measure itself against other benchmarks to increase the quality of the service they're providing. And in order to attract more participants in the future. In some cases, you may have people supporting you, for example, the RELOs, the British Council, or there's some sponsors like telecom companies, or maybe Ministry of Education. So these are your partners. So if you organize a shoddy conference, you're not going to get support the following year. So these are the things the organizers are looking for. And then the sense of satisfaction by the planning committee. You know, glowing in the bask of a successful conference. After each conference, everybody is, well done, guys, well done, guys. You feel good about it, that you pulled off another great conference. And this is the reason they're asking for high quality sessions. So you can understand why sometimes the reviewers will, well, the organizers will not be able to accept your proposal. Then the other considerations too, what I'll call economic another underpinnings, supply and demand. Some conferences may have like 5 rooms available for that event. Some maybe 10 rooms. So they now have to think about how many sessions can we squeeze into 5 rooms in a day or over a 2-day period. So based on that, there'll be so many proposals that are very good, but cannot be accepted. During the COVID, I organized a conference in Qatar University. I had Stephen Krashen and Rod Ellis as our plenary speakers. And we had 4,000 attendees. We received over 400 proposals, and we only had room for 70. There were over 200 good proposals. It wasn't just possible to accommodate them. We could only accommodate 70. So because when you use these big names, people tend to come to your conference just to listen to Stephen Krashen or Rod Ellis or, Skinner, those big names in the field. So it comes to supply and demand, which is why it is not because your proposal is bad. It may just be there is just no room to accommodate yours. The other one is buddy, friend. There's the anonymous, the person you don't know. Hey, I know Jane. I know Riku, they're my friends. So regardless of what they submit, get them in. Yeah, they come in. Give them a chance to present. You choose that over a higher quality proposal. There's also the insider and the outsider perspective. These are people within the association. These are people that are working very hard to keep the association going. So we need to give them preference. And I think we have this bias in every association. Africa ELTA, for example, if we have 100 proposals, good ones we want to accept, but there may be some from outside Africa, I would rather say, hey, let's give our sisters and brothers a chance to present. Those people outside, they can always go somewhere else and present. They can present in their country. So there's that bias as well, which I'll probably call political decision. We also think about geographical spread. Next year, we have a conference in Tanzania. Can you imagine if all the presenters are from Rwanda, Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Ethiopia? How can we now call that Africa ELTA conference, where we only have people from one region? So we also think about people from South Africa, Central Africa, West Africa, North Africa, to find that balance. So that again may be at the cost of a good proposal from somebody in the overpopulated area or geographical area. Then the program itself, the conference program, diversity in the program. We're not just going to focus on one particular theme. I know now nobody is talking about anything else except AI. So you can imagine if you have 70 sessions, maybe 50 will be on AI. We still need to bring in other perspectives, So those are the considerations. So quantity versus quality. And then cash. We need money. We are not doing all this for free. We need to, increase our bottom line. And the convention fee you charge members will determine how many people. Maybe presenters may pay $10, attendees $5. So the more presenters you have, the more money you can make. Yeah. So I know situations where people just walk in, register on the day of the event, and present without submitting proposals at all. So that's all about money. As long as you can pay the registration fee, charge the presenters, you just walk in and say whatever I want to say, and then you walk away. That has happened. So these are considerations we have to take into account, both the conference organizers and the people writing proposals to be accepted. Okay, we've talked for almost 20 minutes, so let's have a commercial break. And I'm allowed to do this. I'm contesting TISOL presidency. So here I'm showing you my strength and my manifesto. So I see myself as somebody that has vision, as somebody that has a resilient personality. I'm very tough, very thick-skinned. Even when they tell me things are failing, I just don't listen. I just keep going. I've been told so many times how Africa ELTA is going to fail, that it's not going to succeed, even by my fellow teachers in Africa. When I started, oh, we've heard that before. They always say this when it doesn't get off the ground. And I asked the guys, did you hear it from me? No. You hear it all the time. Let's start. But did you hear it from me? So I'm a very resilient person. And the fact that Africa ELTA has come from how it was to how it is now is because of this resilience, vision, and the ability to build a team, around me, and using negotiation. You don't talk to people, you talk with people. I don't tell people what to do. We discuss, we negotiate and agree. So that's how we've been able to succeed so far. And when I was serving on the diversity committee of TESOL International many years ago, there were more members in America than members outside America. But now the balance has shifted. There are 55% members of TESOL outside America and 45% inside. This is as of last year. So then I was thinking, these are the people paying the convention membership dues. So they're the ones keeping the association going. So let's think about the goose that lays the golden egg. So rather than start fighting for Africa, so let me fight for the American teachers. So as the chair of the diversity committee, I advocated for what they call K-12 Day, which is secondary school teacher special day. And we were able to get TESOL to agree, and they charged them $100. It started with $100. Now I think it's like $250 something for K-12 Day. And this year, we had a leadership training program, that Jane and Rogers were there as beneficiaries. I made that happen. I made a very strong case when I was on the board. I told them, in Africa, when a politician serves his term and he goes back to his people to seek a re-election, the first question is, what did you do for us when you were there? The argument they always put, oh, we don't see people from Africa in our leadership pipeline. They don't express interest with it. And I said, when I go back to Africa and I tell my brothers and sisters, please join TESOL leadership pipeline, they will tell me, Okon, you were there for 3 years. Did we see TESOL in Africa? On that basis, the executive director said, Okon, TESOL will come to Africa. They applied for grants from the State Department and they came to Cairo. So we saw TESOL in Africa this year. So what I plan to do is to make TESOL more inclusive, bring people in and also increase membership engagement. Importantly, advocate, because the advocacy currently is centered in the US. They're talking about advocacy within the US. So this international presence is not just as much as it should be. TESOL International Association, but it's accused of being US-centric. Everything is about US, doing the US political line and all that. So these are things I intend to address if I win the presidency, which is why I changed the slogan to my TESOL to our TESOL. Kennedy, my friend in Nigeria, the president of ELTA, he's from that part of Nigeria where they have so many wisecrackers. He keeps telling me these things. So he's the one that told me, "Pikin, we're in Mama Day kitchen, they sleep hungry." Those of you that speak pidgin English in Nigeria, Cameroon, Ghana, Sierra Leone, you'll understand this. This is merely saying that a child whose mother is in the kitchen can never go to bed with an empty stomach. You know what I'm talking about. There's no way I win the presidency that Africa will be hungry of knowledge. So that's my promise. So let's go back to serious business now. That was a commercial break. Back to why we are here. I have two rubrics here that I want to share with you. because the aim of using a rubric in evaluating proposals is to ensure fairness and objectivity. We saw some of those sample responses earlier on, which some of them did not really seem objective, like saying that telling us what the attendees will take away is not a strength. So it should be with less favoritism. Then it also helps the reviewers to decide because it's very clear in print. So it's like evidence-based. Selection of diverse papers, well, that may not really be stated in the rubric. It may not be stated in the rubric, but in deciding overall, when the review process is over and you pass the list to the board of directors or the bosses of the association, they will then bring in the diversity we talked about earlier. And it also helps the person writing to improve on subsequent attempts. Aligning it with the conference goals, like supporting the strategic objective and, like, where do we go from here? The association will be asking us, where do we go from here? So the conference goals will align with the strategic direction of the association. I take, for example, when we started Africa ELTA, technology was a big challenge. We couldn't get people to join Zoom sessions like this. During the COVID, we had a symposium where I was in a room with two past TESOL presidents on a panel discussing the use of technology in language teaching. There were only 18 people in our room, Zoom. Then there was a WhatsApp session going on, next parallel session, with 350 people in that room on WhatsApp. And we were busy sitting here talking about the use of technology in language learning, forgetting where we are, that in Africa, we had our technical challenges. But for me, it's so, so pleasing, so happy to see 51 people in a room here on Zoom. So it goes to show how far we've gone in the past 2-3 years, how far we've come. I'm thinking that this is just the way forward. So this is the kind of strategic vision you have, and then you have to create the platform to make this happen again and again. This is a bit tiny. This is when we started as Africa TESOL, I adapted the TESOL International rubric for our context, maybe for the first 4 or so conferences. And later on, I thought, no, we cannot be using TESOL International Standards rubric to evaluate presenters in Africa because of our context, the challenges we have. So we had to revise the rubric to, I'll go into details later, into this. This is what we have now. This is what is on the website now. This is what we've been using in the past few years. And it has just 4 bands from 0, 1, 2, 3, 3 being the excellent band. TESOL International. Okay, Tylos wants to say something. Go on, Tylos. Can you unmute Tylos, please? Tylos. Rukia, Jane, can you unmute Tylos?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've sent a request for him to
Sorry,
unmute. Yeah. But meanwhile, there are very many coming in. Dr. Okon, people are...
Yeah, go on. I told you can stop me at any time to...
Okay.
Yeah.
So they are happy to be part of this session today. Thank you for doing this for us. We have we have Rogers who's saying congratulations in advance. Your passion for excellence puts you ahead of the rest. Then we have Salome who's also saying congratulations in advance, sir. Then you have Ruth who's saying Dr. Okon mentored me. He's a resilient, determined and resourceful leader indeed. A good listener, you have my vote. We have Mwana Idi is saying, we trust you, doctor. Then you have Isaac Mwangi is saying, I love that. A child whose mother is in the kitchen is assured of something. Yes. So I can see We are all going to vote for Dr. Okon. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So going
Yes.
back to
Oh,
the
we have
proposal
one more,
rubric,
sorry.
do you want to solve? Oh, okay, go on.
Yes. Oh, we have Jacqueline was saying great vision and Arthur, such a great man. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll sleep well tonight. Thank you. So the TESOL rubric has 5 bands, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 being the excellent band. But we modified so if you look at the 2 rubrics now, these are the bands: relevance, currency, importance, appropriateness, clarity and outcomes, purpose, outcomes, and session types, evidence, linked to theory, quality as indicator. The TESOL says clarity as indicator. Then they had another one: support for practices, conclusion, and recommendation. I thought, we don't need to write recommendations in the proposal. What are you recommending? Who are you recommending to? So, but if you can just mention the takeaways, what the outcome, what the participants will take away, that's enough. So we are currently using this. So I'm going to go into details with the Africa ELTA rubric, the excellent band, because in my classroom, when I teach my students and I show them the writing or speaking rubric, I don't show them the 1, 2, 3. I show them the 4, the excellence. And I said, those who don't want to get full mark, they can go and read the rest. So I use the excellent band only to get the message across to my students. So I'm using only the excellent band here to tell you exactly what conference organizers want. Because the text was very tiny there, I'll just give you maybe 1 minute to read this, the adapted one from TESOL, and then I'll show you the same thing for Africa ELTA. Cutting edge, groundbreaking. I feel so uncomfortable when I hear the word cutting edge, groundbreaking, especially with technology, because I sit down and I look at the whole world. What is groundbreaking? What you may consider obsolete in Denmark may be groundbreaking in my village. If, for example, an English teacher in my village goes to the classroom with a laptop to support his learning, it's not just breaking the ground, it's raising the roof. Raising the roof. Because the kids there will be so excited. Whereas in Europe or Japan or China, it's like, what is that? There's something they did maybe 30 years ago or 40 years ago. So I always say we should think about our context differently, because we are doing great stuff in Africa. We need the world to know what we are doing, how we are doing, and how we are succeeding in doing this. I like to talk about my village because I'm a village man. All the Kenyans I've met in my life, they're all from Nairobi. So I do ask myself, where are the people from Kisumu, from other places in Kenya? All the Kenyans I've met in my travels, they all come from Nairobi. So when I talk about village, maybe since they're all city girls and boys, you may not even relate to what I'm trying to tell you now. In my village, 21 years ago, when my father died, the usual, what we call wake keeping or vigil night, the night before the burial, that people come to drink and eat and sing. I went with my laptop and I was playing music on the laptop and sharing video. And that was the first time that I'd seen a laptop. So those people were so focused on just watching the movies on the laptop, they kept asking me, what is that thing that is playing cinema? I said, it's a computer. What is a computer? I didn't know how to explain. I said, that thing. That's all, because I didn't know how to explain what a computer is. They said, what is a computer? I just said, that thing. But the good news was, by morning, 70% of the drinks were untouched. Because they were so focused on watching the movie, they forgot they came to eat and drink. So when we talk about Africa, I always think about the teachers who are teaching under the tree, those who are just using chalk and blackboard, white chalk and blackboard. So yesterday, in the Africa ELTA Members Forum, I wrote down the name, Ellie Satin posted something games is doing in the classroom, which is very interesting. We're going to talk about gamification later, which is very interesting, but it works for him. He's using it to teach English. It's working for him. I can assure you, if we kind of amplify that game in Africa, before you know it, China will come up with a digital version of it, and then they sell it to us. The same thing that we invented, intellectual property, our trademark, they digitalize it, it becomes like a computer program, and they sell it back to us in the form of apps, and you have to pay to subscribe. So we are doing great things in Africa. So I don't like the word groundbreaking, cutting edge. If it works for us, that's cutting edge for us. Then the purpose, and then the third one, then theory-based in a detailed and comprehensible manner. We have our challenges in Africa. Lack of access to current journals. So when you're asking for a detailed and in a comprehensible manner, comprehensible, okay, but detailed. We may not be able to read these cutting edge blue chip journals on regular basis to know what is happening. So we cannot expect that from us if we are organizing a conference for ourselves. And then here again, it says conclusions, recommendations will be clearly substantiated. How do you substantiate recommendation? If I'm making a recommendation, how do I substantiate that? The last one is okay, well written. So now we change it to what it is now. As far as relevance is concerned, we just say current will be of interest, clarity, the purpose and the objectives, participants' outcome are clear, and then there's a strong and relevant theory. Maybe the word strong shouldn't be there. We should just take out that strong and just say there is relevant theory as evidence. And then the quality, well written. That's all. So it's much more simpler now compared to the one we adapted from TESOL International. So if we want to discuss the relevance, for people submitting proposals, what is trending in the field? We have so many things trending in the field. Translanguaging, using multiple languages to support learning, and then blended, combining face-to-face with online. That doesn't work in so many contexts in Africa. It's just face-to-face. During COVID, most countries shut down the system completely because they didn't have the technology to support blended or online learning. And some countries, you have people learning on television. I know my village, there was no such thing because there's no electricity. And where there is generator, there's no money to buy fuel. So who is going to watch the TV? And then if the parents are paying to watch TV, buying fuel to watch TV, they want to watch the Africa Magic. They want to watch movies, not for the child to be learning something. So social and emotional skill development is also something. Gamification, that's this one increases motivation. This is what I was talking about when Ellie Satik posted that thing yesterday. I thought about it and I said, great one. We now have so many mobile apps we can help. And then adaptive technology. This is another case. Adaptive technology. As long as this technology is pedagogically sound and contextually appropriate, and it meets the learner's goals and their needs, I think you can use it. So when we talk technology, it's not always, it doesn't have to be smart screen, smart this. A voice recorder may be the technology, the cutting edge technology in your village, in your school. Use it if it works for you. If it's just the Nokia, the one they sell $3, Nokia 310 or something, if that's all you have and you're able to get something, use it. It's not everybody that has an iPhone 15 or 16 or whatever the number is, or Samsung Fold 6. So use what you have. That is what I mean by adaptive technology. Adapt what you have, whatever technology you have. It doesn't have to be what is in New York or in London or in Beijing. No. Virtual reality is about just immersing yourself in virtual reality and multicultural inclusion. This talks about diversity. So if you are doing something that involves promotes diversity in your classroom, it's something you can talk about. Task-based learning is just using meaningful tasks. It's old, but it's still there. And now artificial intelligence. You see, I put that one last. Maybe you expected me to put it first. What is trending? Artificial intelligence is trending now. Everybody's talking about it. And we are going to talk about it tonight. Well, not tonight, sorry, today, this morning. So just know your target audience, know your event organizers. If I'm giving a presentation in Tanzania next year on technology, and the teachers are maybe teachers that just come from the rural areas, and I'm standing there talking about all this high-tech stuff, it wouldn't make sense to them. I should be able to talk about what is available to them and then how they can use it. So when you're writing your proposals, just see how you can align your proposals with something. This is not all. This list is just some that I mentioned. There are so many things trending. See how you can connect your proposal with what trends. And then language, straight language. Your proposal should have a structure, because when we read that proposal, we are kind of imagining, how is this person going to present? It's going to flow from A to B to C to D, and then the outcomes. The outcomes here could mean two things. If it's a research-oriented session, the outcome of your research, the findings. It could also mean the takeaways. What would the people that attend your session take away? So please, when you have that structure, it shows that you can fit in that proposal into the time frame allowed. For example, workshop, maybe 45 minutes, a research-oriented or teaching approaches, 25 minutes. If your proposal is for teaching tip, and then you are putting so much information, as a reader or reviewer, I'll say, no. You can't squeeze this into 25 minutes. So it's not possible. It's not possible. So that again could be rejected, even though your proposal is well written. So it's structured in a way that the person reading will know that this session can fit into the time frame. That is why the call for paper is very specific. Workshop, time limit, research-oriented, storytelling, whatever it is. And then takeaways. Question? Yeah, go on. Yeah, go on.
Someone is asking, how can we have access to TESOL?
TESOL? TESOL.org. That's all. Type in your phone, TESOL.org. It will show you join as a member. It will ask you how much is your salary. And for teachers in Africa, it's no, sorry, it's not going to ask you how much is your salary. It will tell you if your annual salary is less than $25,000, that means you're entitled to global membership. And you only pay $35 a year as a member. But I know $35 translates into a lot of money. That's about 4,000 Kenyan shillings. Am I right, Jen? 4,000 Kenyan shillings. So if a teacher is earning 30,000 shillings and is paying 4,000 from, so it's a sacrifice we make. So, but I can assure you, all the teachers in Africa will be entitled to global rate, which is $35 a year, and that gives you access to everything. So if you can make that sacrifice, which many of us do, to grow professionally, it will be worth it. It will be worth it. Okay. So the other one is linking your proposal with theory. There are so many things out there: academia, semantic scholars, Google Scholar, ResearchGate, or open educational resources, or even open access journals. So when you write a proposal, try to see what has been published in that field recently. Even if you don't have the full access to it, at least you'll get the abstract from maybe Google Scholar. Then you see some that they provide free PDF, or you can request in ResearchGate or academia, you can ask the author to share. Maybe the author may share if it's an open access, or may just share with you privately. So this way you can have one or two sentences you can link your session to, and then that tick box is complete. There's evidence of linking this to theory, or even if it is practice. Look at the earlier slide, the trends. You see what is trending. You choose on a section align your proposal with one of the topics that is trending, and then support it with this academic literature, and then you're good. So apart from research-based papers, which you can easily find, workshops, teaching tips and storytelling can also be aligned with any of these theories you see here. These are old theories, but they're still very valid. So you can connect interaction, classroom interaction, speaking or social-cultural, the social and cultural issue, your behaviors or cognitive and input hypothesis by crashing affective filter. So you can find a way to connect your proposal with any one of these theories or many more. This is not all, but there are many. I just selected a few. And so looking at the rubrics, well, the rubric now, Africa ETA rubric, we saw relevance, we saw clarity, we saw link to theory. In summary, A plus B plus C is equals to D. If your proposal is relevant and current, if it is very clear and participant outcome benefit is clearly stated, and there's a connection with theory, then clarity is about language, then it's of high quality.
Sure. Yeah, sure, go ahead.
We have more members joining from Matthew from LPAC. We also have Sarah from who's saying very well elaborated, Dr. Okon. Inclusiveness is very important in today's world. We hope you win. Then we have Mkub Toch from Kenya. This is a wonderful presentation. People. Then we have Segno saying congratulations. Doctor, you have my vote. So proud of our future TESOL president. Yes, that's my president. Purpose-driven, precise, and understands the task ahead. Hope it's not too late to add collaboration aspect, e.g. work with UNHCR. That is from Isaac. Then Caroline says, all the best, Dr. Okon. Joy is clapping. Then we have Patrick, you have what it takes to lead TESOL forward. Then Jackson from Kisumu and Godfrey saying, I'm proud of you. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for the support you're giving. One of ours. Yes, then you have Edith from Mombasa, Kenya. Good job, doctor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, because this is the kind of positive vibes that I need to feed off these, and then I feel good. You know, I'm not just going there to make up the numbers. I'm contesting to win. So fingers crossed. Okay, so in that video interview, I talked about how to social align global practices, global perspectives with local practices. And that's very important in our context in Africa. And that's the message I've always driven home to my friends outside and inside Africa, that we should use what we have to offer what we can. If association had like motto, like some companies have motto or schools have motto, Africa ETA motto, we use what we have to give, to provide what we can. So don't overflock yourself. Don't feel guilty that you're unable to do this. No, use the little you have. But let's share what we are doing because it's working for us. Let's share with the wider world. Okay, we are done with commercial break. Just 30 seconds. This is a good proposal. It has the reference to literature. It shows very clearly a study, then the finding, and then the, sorry, maybe my sins. Yeah, you don't need to read everything. So this is just a sample proposal. This is a good one. And then this is very poor. This is very poor. You know, you can see it. There are 5 main elements, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's it. And then this person would now expect to be accepted to give a presentation on what? This one is below average. I say it's a poor one. It starts by saying, based on the researcher's experience, which researcher's experience, it can be clearly observed by who? Observe what? Where's that coming from? Research carried out in the area have reviewed a variety of practices. Who said it? You know, so accordingly, the researcher believes, will be valuable to investigate. To achieve the study objective, 2 tools were developed, first, second, and that's the end. It ends there. So No, it doesn't really add up. So what I did was I asked AI to rewrite that poor proposal. I asked AI to rewrite it. Then AI rewrote it. The language is now very smooth, it's very clear, it's very sweet, but then there's still loopholes. It's still a researcher's experience. Observers suggest AI cannot provide this information. So we cannot rely on robot to provide this. You have to tell AI what it should give you, because I just told the AI to rewrite this proposal in a nice language. This is what came out. And then it's continued competency-based teaching grounded in development. The red line, red color, still no reference. AI cannot provide reference. Then it says the interviews will focus. You see here? So you are giving a presentation and you are talking, the interview will focus, which clearly shows that this study is in progress. So this is the risk of using artificial intelligence to write proposals, unless the parameters are clearly defined. You see, then AI did not say what the findings are. It did not say what the participants will take away. So this is leading us to our conversation. So here,
there's a request. Someone says, please go back to the good proposal slide. We take a screenshot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This one. Yeah, sure.
The good proposal. The good, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, this one. I'll send the PowerPoint to Jane after this conversation, and then we can. I mean, maybe I'll try to see if I can put it in the chat box. I don't know. No, I'll just send it to Jane, and then you can share with them, the attendees, or with your people. Let me put it that way, with your people. Okay. Can I move on now?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay.
There's a question.
Yeah, go on.
There's a question. Yes. We have someone asking, Ezequiel Afonso, how does your previous experience from ELTA Africa help you embark on this new and noble mission? That's one. Then we have someone says, I have a question, sir. In writing proposals, can a scholar use AI tools to rewrite what the scholar write first by himself? Is it allowed in an academic writing proposal? Yes, those are the two questions.
I will answer the second one first. I think after this slide, the floor will be open and we have a conversation.
Okay.
We have a conversation about that. Then about the first question about whether Africa attacked TESOL. No, it's the other way around. I actually joined TESOL because of Africa. Is what took me to join TESOL. When I went to their convention in 2010, Africa had 4 affiliates. America had 48 affiliates. I was angry. I wrote to the president, asking him to explain to me why Africa is so unrepresented. And I wasn't expecting a reply. You know, when you think of president of TESOL, I was a student then. You think the person is like, that he wasn't going to, but the man responded after 2 weeks, explaining that people from Africa don't want to come. And I thought, okay, let me go there and understand how associations work. I joined the diversity committee. Like I said earlier in my conversation, I did not want to go there to start shouting, Africa, Africa, Africa. I said, let me do something for the white people. So I fought for the white people first, the K-12 teachers in America. And then I told them I'm going to form Africa TESOL. And they said, go ahead. And I started the conversation from there, and then the groundwork. And so it's not really me going from Africa ELTA to TESOL. I actually started from TESOL. I've been working with TESOL for the past 13 years, from committee level to interest section to nomination committee to the board, proposal review and all that. So I think I've given my time, I've paid my dues to TESOL over the years. So now I'm looking at Africa as our context and trying to take Africa to the world, let the world understand our struggles, what we really do here, and if they want to help us, fine. We've been operating without money. We've never had any corporate donor, not a single dollar. We just use what we have to do what we can. Whereas other associations, they get support from. Even the National Association, you get money from the RELOs, $30,000 to organize conferences, $15,000. We don't get anything from anybody. We've just been doing things ourselves. So if I can make Africa ELTA do what it can do now, so given the chance for a big association that has, I won't tell you how much, but has more money than Africa ELTA, I'll be able to do more. Okay, so then we'll talk about, this is the last slide now. So my advice is check the call for paper and then know your target audience. So the call for paper is already out for Africa ELTA, not just Africa ELTA, even international conferences or local conferences, national conferences. Your target audience, who are you going to talk to? Will you be able to talk to them in a language they understand? And then when we're talking about technology, are they up to speed with what you want to explain to them? In 2015, Qatar TESOL organized a conference, Qatar TESOL, and the guy that was like the tech guru here gave a presentation on QR code. He was sounding like this is cutting edge technology, not latest, cutting edge. I was the moderator in the room. After the session, I said, hey, QR code was invented in 1994 in Japan, and people have been using it. I started using it in 2002. And now you're making it sound like it's a cutting edge technology in 2015. He said, shh, okay, shut up, don't say it. So at that time, it was cutting edge technology here to its audience. So, which is why I said earlier, whether you are using a Nokia 310 or using a voice recorder, that could be your cutting edge technology for your audience. So be clear on what you want to do. Let your title be eye-catching, engaging, compelling abstract, session description, sequence, we talked about that, edit and proofread. Proofread, edit and proofread. Even if English is not your first official language. Because in Africa, we have Kenya, South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, where English is the official language. I don't know about Tanzania. So somebody was asking in one of the posts, why is Africa ELTA not two? One for English speaking, one for French speaking. So edit and proofread. And then my advice is learn to write before you depend on AI. When it's all done, it's all good. Now throw it into AI to check for spelling, grammar, errors. And then be careful with academic integrity, because this is a red flag. Do not claim something you don't have. Don't steal, because this is stealing. When you steal somebody's information, because I see AI as a thief itself. AI doesn't generate anything. AI goes to look for what people have already written and published, puts it together and gives it to you. AI doesn't create knowledge. It's just giving you what people have already done. So if anything, AI itself is plagiarizing, but that's a different conversation. So let's talk. The floor is now open. My turn to learn from you. I'm done. Thank you very much. So it's now open for discussion.
Thank you so much. We can have our questions and the chat box, or anyone who wants to speak can raise their hand and unmute and ask any questions. Yes. Meanwhile, we have a few questions here. Thank you for, we have Patrick who's saying thank you so much for highlighting some of the shortcomings of AI. As teachers, we do not have to discard our intellect completely. Yes.
Thank you. Very, very true.
You're right.
Because when you discard your core qualities and become over-dependent on AI, you lose that creativity. You lose critical thinking skills. So even your students, like in my class, I tell my students, because it's difficult to tell people, don't use AI. They have a spell checker in Microsoft Word, which they can use to correct spellings. We have Grammarly to correct your grammar. So one student challenged me in class, say, teacher, why are you telling us not to use this thing? Then you tell me to use a Microsoft Word and do spell check and then to correct my spelling. But you're telling me, I said, no. Write your English, put it there to fix for you. I want to see your ownership of the text in the writing. But if you're asking AI to write for you, I'll give you 0. Because if you do that, then I can call you to my office during office hours, say, hey, please, can you explain the meaning of adaptive technology? You cannot, because that's not your English. Whereas if you write it in your English, you can now throw it into AI to like that sample I showed you. The first, the post proposal, the AI written proposal. The English was good in terms of clarity, but there were missing elements, no link to literature, no participants' outcome. But if you inject all those things, and then the AI can rearrange it for you, I think I will not stop you from using AI.
We have a question from Nuru. Do we have registered members of TESOL to vote? That's a good question.
I should be asking that question because I know Jane is one. So Jane, you can tell them. I've just explained to you how to become a member. First, you just go to TESOL.org website. It will give you the link to register, to become a member. It will ask you if you earn less than $25,000 a year. Yes, which I think many of our teachers do. And then that's about $2,000 a month. I don't know how much you earn, but you'll be entitled to global membership of $35 a year. So you can become a member with just $35. But go and register. Just go to TESOL.org and try to register.
We have members here. We have Rogers, we have
Rogers is also a member. Ricky is a member too.
Yes.
Okay.
We have Segno. We also have Rukia who says, count on my vote. Thank you, Rukia.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Tina says, I'm a qualified member too. Wonderful. Thank you, people.
Thank you, Tina. Tina just came. She just joined us now.
She's been here for a while. Yes.
Oh, really? Oh, maybe she went for coffee break and came back.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Hi, Tina. You are muted. You are muted. You are muted. You are muted.
Hi, Dr. Okon. Hi, everyone. Actually, I was in the internet made its own issue. So I'm glad I've joined. And I'm not adding until the moment we will be voting. You'll have my votes. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have Regan. Thank you, Tina. We have Regan who said, I feel that humans can write from a point of emotions. Emotions gives life to writing. Robots can't do that. It remains
very good point.
a tool of reference and review, but originality lies with human.
Very, very true. So I still believe we should learn to write first. We should be writing. So we just use AI to help us with the areas we have weaknesses, which is maybe the structure or the grammar, or so, which is quite understandable. So we should be the writer. You know, AI should just be like a check and balance, or to check yourself. Because if I want to write something, I write first. I can put it in AI, then I take it back again and change again to make it mine again. So when you do this maybe 3 times, because the plagiarism checkers like a Quillbot to check whether you use AI to write, it will flag what percentage of your text is AI or what percentage is human. So I don't know if Africa is going to use that in the review process. I don't make that policy, but the conference committee will make that decision. So, but if you write first, put into AI, then you rewrite again, rearrange it again, put it back into AI, take it out the third time. By the third time you put it, I think it's all yours. It becomes yours. 3 iterations, it becomes yours. But don't quote me. Don't quote me. So that way you can avoid being caught when your paper is run through plagiarism check. Yeah, somebody's hand is up. Yeah, please speak. We are discussing now. The floor is open.
Yes, we can start with Segno. Sure.
Yeah.
Segno, then Rukia. Thank you so much.
Get me, please. Yeah, this is Senyo from Togo.
Hi, Segno.
Yeah, I am the president of Togo English Teachers Organization. I joined this webinar because writing proposal is a great challenge in our country. You can remark that the no Togolese present during international conferences. And these days, we are trying to fix this, and we are organizing a National Congress. And writing proposal is one of the topics. And we'll be very happy to hear you during our coming sessions. So I'll send you the invitation. But I wanted to do it directly. So we'll be very happy to hear you.
Very good, Segno. Don't worry. What you've just done is to wet the ground. Like we say in Nigeria, you wet the ground. So the ground is now ready to be soft to walk on. Just let me know when you have your session, then I check my schedule. I think I can come in because the good thing is I don't have to go and start all over again. I already have something ready here. So it's just to tweak it and make it more national than continental. No problem.
Yes. Okay.
I'll be your
Thank
guest.
you very much. And
no problem.
Good luck for the TESOL presidency.
Thank you. It will be good for Africa. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Rukia?
Thank you, Doc. And also for the tips that you've given us. I have a question with regards not only to proposal writing, but the idea of doing something on your own and then putting it on to AI to correct you. Is there a chance that still someone might be charged with plagiarism, considering if that particular document is placed for plagiarism check once it's on AI because it's already online?
That is what I said just before Sego asked his question. When you do if you are the person to write the initial draft, you write it, put into AI to fix for you. It comes out, you rewrite again what AI has written. You know, look at the language that you think maybe someone mentioned about emotional involvement. Put your emotions, put your feelings into that writing, change again, throw it back into AI, and it sends it back to you. Then the third time, which is like the final time, you read through again, you check again, and then you throw it back, and then I think you can get away with it. But I said, don't quote me. It's a tech guy that gave me the tip, so don't quote me. But I'll check. I mean, I wanted to check before this session, but I didn't have time. I wanted to reiterate that poorly written proposal. I wanted to fix it, give it to AI, change, and then run it through the plagiarism check because I have I have Quillbot, which can catch AI text. But I didn't have the time to do that. I didn't know how much time I was going to use, so I thought we can just talk about it. Yeah. More discussion, please, because this topic is very important. It's what is trending all over the world now. And how does it affect us as teachers? Because not just us writing proposals, but our students, because we are grading students. And in the past, we used to get people like some companies, when you're doing your dissertation, graduate studies, you give it to them to do the final editing for you. You pay money. Those people are out of work now because AI has kicked them out of work. You don't need people to proofread your paper anymore. You just give it to AI and it does it for you. So as teachers, what are we telling our students in class? Are we supporting the use of AI 100%, 50%, 20%? So if you ask me, I'll say maybe 20%, yes. It would be wrong to say, don't use AI. I mean, it would be wrong. Whether we like or not, it has come to stay, but how do we use it? It's an open-ended question. Nobody has an answer yet. Institutions will have different policies on its use. So it depends on which institution you operate. So they have different policies on how much of AI you can use. Salome, let's hear from you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. It's really nice to be here. And Doc, I've really learned a lot from your presentation. So thank you very much. On the issue of how much should we let our students use AI, when I learned how to use AI, I taught my students, my secondary school students, how to use ChatGPT, because I know that their writing is really poor. So when I give essays, they don't come up with what I like. So I say, please, when you have written put it through this and come back with it. And I discovered that they use it. And you know that this is this child's language. But you see that the writing is so clear, the grammar is so correct and everything. And I say, you used AI, and say, yes, Auntie, I used AI, you know, and I'm excited that they are doing something that I have taught them and they're coming out better. So I don't struggle too much to mark. In fact, I would have screenshot one of the conversations I had with my students. I think that was 2 days ago. He used AI to tell me his challenges. He asked in explaining his challenges, put it to AI and sent it back to me. And I said, Michael, you used AI. He said, yes, Auntie, I used AI. And I think I like that. But you'll be able to see that this is the child's language. This is his words. This is the challenge he's having. This is the peculiarity of this child. But the grammar is much, much better. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Salome. Yeah, like I said earlier, if as teachers, we have a way of getting our learners to actually understand the text AI has produced. That again is a learning process. So AI can serve as a second teacher or the home tutor so that the learner can actually learn more grammatical structures from AI. But I will insist as a teacher that the student takes ownership of that text by being able to explain what is being presented. Because if I call you and I read a sentence to you and ask, can you tell me your understanding of this sentence? And the student can tell me, I will accept it. But when you use AI and I ask you, oh, you wrote a virtual reality. What's the meaning of virtual reality? You don't know. No. Go back and change that virtual reality to some other words that you know. So that still makes you the owner of that text. So good stuff. And again, Salome, at the secondary school level, it's working for you there. But when they now move to university, where they'll be writing 10 papers or reports and they have to be challenged for what they're writing, it becomes a problem. Yeah. More contributions, please. This is very interesting, and we also can learn from each other.
We got more comments on the chat section. We just go down. So we have Jacqueline. I am a TISO member in good standing and chair of elect of SPLIS, Speech Pronunciation and Listening Interest section. So you can be assured you have her vote. That is Jacqueline from Kenya.
Jacqueline. Thank you, Jacqueline. And we need more people like you. So bring your sisters and brothers to join the pipeline. We need more Africans in the pipeline, people that will become board members in the future and ultimately the president.
Yes, thank you. Then we have Efeturi. I hope I'm not saying that badly. I quite agree with you, Doctor. That is exactly what I do. I write, sorry, I keep missing this. Go back there again. But we have more comments on the comment section. Please, let's also give our comments. We have Patrick who says, personally, I feel AI should be discouraged at the secondary school, especially as AI will not be allowed in the examination hall. Roger says AI must be used with moderation. Sorry, I keep missing. So AI, Roger says AI must be used with moderation. Then Isaac says the learner's mind should not be limited to AI. Let AI just trigger the creativity or help a learner to polish their ideas. We have Rukia's hand. Rukia has raised her hand. Yes, Rukia.
I just wanted to share something that we were discussing like 3 weeks ago with some teachers, and they were saying that they once gave us an assignment and realized most of the students had used AI. So being that they know they might not necessarily disallow the use of AI, they decided to go a step further and ask the learners to do role plays on whatever they had written, just for them to internalize knowledge and whatever it is that they had written. I thought that was a good idea.
Yeah, sure. Roki, I agree with you because that's the point I was making about trying to claim ownership of the text. So the role play will now help them to internalize the language and have a greater understanding of what it is they put on paper. So it's something maybe Salome can adapt in her classroom, although somebody has said it shouldn't be encouraged at the secondary school level because they will not use AI in the exams. So the danger maybe if they're dependent on AI, when it comes to the real exam, the output may be very, very bad or very poor, except those who have actually used the AI to learn, those who are motivated to study, self-study, to use the AI to learn. The people that are just using it for assignments, in, out, without learning anything will really do very badly in the exams. Okay, more hands up. We have Peter. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Peter Jero, I'm a student at AIU doing linguistics at master's level. What I've seen our lecturers do is they discourage more individualized learning. So what we do is more of group work.
We are losing you, Peter.
As a group, so that we help one another to learn. They're very hard to discuss. I'm saying what I've seen our professors do in our university is to discourage more individualized learning. We do more of a discussion groups so that people can learn from one another. So even when you use the AI, you can actually internalize that knowledge to learn from one another. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter. Great one, because group work, yeah, individuals will still use AI, and then when you bring it together, everybody learns from each other, and then it makes it even better. So I like that policy too, because it makes the lecturer less stressed about whether to verify your output, because being a group work will just assess you as a group. So that's a good policy for a lecturer to adopt at the individual level. But I don't know whether the university has its own policy, because my university here hasn't come out with a clear policy on AI. It just talks about plagiarism generally and the penalty, unless you can reference the source. I think if you use AI in academic writing and you actually say this is written by AI, I think you've covered yourself. Yeah, you've covered yourself. You got AI to write it for you according to AI. You don't say according to AI, but you acknowledge AI as a source of part of your writing. Yep. Any more?
We can take 2 more because of time, if that's okay.
I'm here. If you want to stay on, that's fine. I'm not in a hurry. This is weekend here, so it's okay by me. As long as the people want to talk and I'm ready to talk. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have someone says the time for AI is now. We have Purity says continuous use of AI is good, as the more you use it, the more you discover that your input is very important. We should encourage usage to know the limit. Then you have Umar. What I understand about the use of AI is to be used as a moderator or assistant in improving and making writing accurate. Then you have Antonine. Where will be the learner's creativity from the onset of if the first idea is from AI? Then you have Jack says use of technology is in all spheres of human life should be in moderation, like they say technology should not kill humanity. Then Noah says informative. Then we have Afonso says how to quote IA when one decides to use, that's a good question. How to quote AI when one decides to use it. What do you think?
No, you don't quote AI in text because I've not seen anybody use that, but I think at the end of your text, maybe when you're putting references, you can acknowledge support you got from AI. You just acknowledge. Maybe part of this text was AI assisted. That's it. AI assisted, because if they are putting it through the plagiarism check, it will show what percentage of your text is human and what percentage is AI assisted. So you can just acknowledge at the end that this is AI assisted production, so that you're not accused of anything. You've acknowledged it's AI assisted. So what is your professor or your teacher going to tell you again? Yeah. No, the fact is, whether we like it or not, it has come to stay. We're not going to run away from it. That's it. It's just how we use it, and how we can use it to sustain interest, sustain motivation, sustain creativity, and critical thinking of the skills of our students. That is what is important. Not just a shortcut approach to doing assignments.
Yes. Thank you so much. We have so many comments. I wish we could take them, but time has already.
Jane, I'm
up.
here. If you want to go, hand over the right to someone else. Because why I'm saying this is because this is the elephant in the room. So it's good to just air as much opinions as we can, because we now go back with different views, and then we can synthesize this and be able to see how we can use. But the good news is, if you are talking about students using AI in secondary school, that is great. That means you are teaching in a very high-tech environment. If your students have smartphones to be using AI, there are some people that some teachers don't even have smartphones. So all this AI talk doesn't even make sense to them. So for you to be using AI with your secondary school, it means you are tech-enabled and your students are tech-enabled. No, I'm honestly, Jen, I'm here. I can stay here till 12. Not a problem. But if people want to go, they can go. If people want to sit, they can sit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So I have shared a link of our Google feedback form. We can give our views there. Please fill it right now as we take one or two last questions. Yes, we can have Umar. Yes, thank you. You may unmute and speak, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Umar Ibrahim from Nigeria, a member of ELTAN, that is English Language Association of Nigeria, and also registered member of International English Language Teachers Association. I appreciate the way that you present impressive insight about how to make a good proposal. Thank you very much, Doctor. That is my own comment.
Thank you very much, Umar. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you. And if you want to have more sessions on this, please, as you fill the Google form, please write to us that you're interested in having more session on this. So we have Nuru says AI is here to stay. As teachers, we can use it for lesson preparation and assessment. As for learners, we can train them to use it responsibly at secondary level, so as to avoid plagiarism when they get to university. Yes. Then we have Salome. I have learned that whether we allow the use of AI or not, our students are smart and they'll find a way around it. So I encourage them to use it, but make it their own. Again, the prompts required to get the response AI gives is basically the learner. So using it builds the learner's critical thinking skills and use of language, my opinion. Then we say, if Omar says, if acknowledge AI, how to use it in reference. That's another question. Then we have Caroline says, AI is here with us. I always encourage my learners to also critically look at the points raised by AI. Yes. I think that's all for now. Anyone else who would want to share a comment and have a question?
Yep. Jen, your question?
Yes.
No. I think... Okay.
We have a comment here. Balancing the benefits of AI is responsible use, and regulation is crucial for its success integration into society. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Okon.
Thanks, Roger. You forgot your brother, Roger. Since Cairo, I've not heard from you, huh? You forgot your brother.
I'm here. I'm happy to hear from you.
One day you see me in Nairobi, don't worry. You'll see me in the flesh.
Yes. We welcome you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Pleasure.
Yeah. Okay, Jane, I think there's no further comments or questions, and maybe people want to go and prepare lunch for their children, or for their partners, for their wives and husbands. So we let them go.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Okon. Thank you for doing this session for us. I can attest that he is a very humble man. When I first met him in Egypt, very friendly, very pleasant. And when we came back to Kenya and I asked him whether he can do a session for us here at LPAC, he was more than willing to support our Teachers Association. So thank you so much. He's very open.